What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Dempsey Plays. Sorry, I thought I heard something. So, last we were heading to the Promised Land, and guess what? We're finally here. So, we were also previously talking about zombie, or not zombie apocalypse specifically, but just apocalypses in general, or apocalyptic ideas in general. And I actually kind of want to keep going with that conversation and see where a lot of you guys might end up on the end up with that kind of idea. Because I think truth be told, I truly do believe that it doesn't just require a apocalyptic scenario to make everybody go freaking bonkers crazy, man. I think it's actually a lot simpler. I think it really just takes a natural disaster of some sort to really um, have the whole world go crazy. Oh man, we're kind of finding these everywhere now. Oh, I can't grab that one. I can't even grab it here. Yeah, we should have. Alright, now we're going to be walking in the dark for a little bit. Luckily for me, I can still see a little bit. Not too terribly. But enough to be dangerous. If I can barely see, I don't think a whole lot. Well, unless if somebody with MVGs rolls up, but I don't think anybody without MVGs is going to be able to see me. Oh, there he is. It might be a good idea to stand here. Five, six, oh. Is that 762 by 39? Yeah, it is. Dang it. Do we have anything or need anything off of that? Not really. Really not a whole lot here. Which is fine. That's okay. So, the idea that I was having is that what type of scenario, either apocalyptic or doomsday scenario, do you think your region, your area, would be more likely to experience? So, I'm more of the Midwest, and there ain't a whole lot, here that could really happen to cause that kind of, mayhem or, craziness. And I think one of the things that could really be possible is blizzards. I think blizzards could really be, a doomsday scenario for us. If we ever got one that was, so horrible, like I think it was back in like 1970 something. I can't remember. Everybody talks about it. Um, but I was told that here, my place wasn't even affected as bad as most places. Like most places, like snow was like 16 foot high. Like people were saying that they were um, uncovering telephone poles, which is wild to think about. Stop biting all the cables. Sorry, I got a cat on me right now. I've got my wire or cables hooked up to my controller for charging it, and then uh, headphones, and she just likes biting both of them. Stop. You need to go to sleep. All right. So let's see. We got a lot of zombies closing in. I really shouldn't leave this place. Ow. This is back outside. Nah, this is just in here. Is there only one? Oh, there we go. Wait, I just closed that. Oh, this is that room. Does it have anything else? Oh, that's that. Nothing on the wall here. Oh. Oh yeah. Let's go in here then. 556. Oh, quit it. I know you're cold. Okay, thank God that back door's closed. Is there a door on this side? No. Some in the back portion. That sounds like a bear. I don't know, maybe it's just the house settling. Alright, so there's only 2 rooms in this room, in this building. I can tell it's getting lighter out. So let's go ahead and start making our way. Where are you? Oh, that's not a bear. There you are. Oh wait, that might be a bear. Let's go up and kill this dude. Okay, so most of these locations on the left here. It's easier, I found that it's easier to check this side first than the other. Probably would be a good idea to start a fire and get warm, but there's a few things we need before we can do that. Oh, the sun just popped right up, didn't it? Actually, let's take our knife out. No, that's not a bear. It's a deer. Or an elk of some sort, probably. Not really into the looting idea just because the only thing I need is night vision at the moment. And more ammo, but... Well, I guess I don't need night vision. Night vision's not a priority because we just came out at the night, but... Anyway, so apocalyptic scenario that you guys think would be best suited for your situation, like your area in which you live in. Me personally, I think it would probably be a blizzard of some sort. Which I mean, we don't. I mean, yeah, we get tornadoes, and I think that it could be a very doomsday thing if it ends up being like so bad, but I don't think it's to the level and degree in which wouldn't be like resolved in like a day or so. But and you know, it's not like I don't. I mean, I think every scenario has the potential to escalate like to a horrible degree, in which is capable of, you know, violence of firearms or violence of knives or violent whatever, you know. And I think one of the most interesting scenarios to think about is like one of the most like nationwide affected, like EMPs. Um, one that I've also considered for a long time too is the Yellowstone National Park. If it were, you know, to ever erupt, you know, dude, I think that one can be pretty devastating. Just because, you know, when you think about like, you know, when you think about it like a volcano that's like miles and miles and like thousands of, you know, thousands or hundreds of miles away from you, you don't really consider it to be a threat. But when you know, when you take into consideration that it could potentially affect you just by the sheer, um, you know, aftermath of the cloud, like I don't think many people really think about that. Like the cloud alone has the potential to like just prevent any sunlight, any natural lighting, which then of course would cause, you know, could cause a famine. And that's so crazy to think about, you know. It's also the reason why, um, you know, it's interesting to consider indoor gardening, like UAV lights and stuff like that. That, you know, has the ability to actually prove to be effective as far as. Boy, that was a little sloppy. Oh yeah. Pretty good gunfight over that way. Oh, that's a bear. That's 100% a bear. That's more over that direction. Sounds like he's getting closer too. Probably in that tree line, like up there. Anyways, it doesn't take long to escalate things, man. People, just conversations. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever worked retail or if you guys have ever worked, as customer service for anything or something. When people are ticked off, it doesn't it doesn't require like any amount of it doesn't have any warning. It doesn't. There is literally just no telling what somebody is going to do or what someone is going to say. Like there isn't. And people, people are just so feeble nowadays. They'll snap on a dime. It's unfortunate to say sometimes because, for someone who, cares about his fellow man, for someone who, um, cares about his community, it sucks to say that because, it makes it seem as though the community is not really trustworthy, but the reality is people aren't. And that's not a foreign concept, but, we all hear about, trying to, you know, be unified. And it's like, well, one of the things that could be unified is if we all get on the same page about what is right and what is wrong. And as soon as we all get on the same page of that, then we can have a pretty good understanding. And those who try to expound upon or go outside of the right or wrong, I think are the problem. Anybody who tries to go outside of what is right and what is wrong, and it's like, well, then people turn around and say, well, then who gets to dictate what is right and what is wrong? And I think our government, or our government system. I think our government is absolutely corrupt. I think it's horrible. It is those who are the problem. But I think one of the other things to recognize from that too, though, is that our system is capable of working when people operate correctly in it. When it's our system is capable of working, but the problem is nobody else is willing to do the right thing. That's ultimately what it comes down to. You get wicked people in high places that, man, it's difficult to get them out of there, man. I've worked for a lot of places that have had a lot of red tape and a lot of corruption, and it's hard to get rid of because it's there's so much legality in the way of it and red tape that guys like that can hide behind the policies in the system because they play it pretty well. That's how they most likely how they got so high, anyways. But to a non-legal scale, kind of a lawlessness scale, um, it's pretty obvious that it's easy for anything to just pop off. Why is there just one little cabin that? I mean, let's go check it out. See how. I mean, it's pretty. It's got to be a decent cabin or a store or something. Because why else would it be on the map? It's not a town. It literally looks like just one building. Let's go check it out. Let me change mags too, because what the oh, I hate that. Get rid of you. Insert new mag. I try to hold triangle, and if you try to press triangle too many times when you try to reload, it'll just automatically go ahead and fire. Like, what is that? Why is that a shoot button? Anyways. But yeah, so play it in your heads, you know, what is the more likely scenario to happen? And then, and so, okay, so not even, all right, so let's think bigger doomsday scenarios. All right, so more nationwide. What do you think is more likely to happen? A invasion in America? Now, mind you, an invasion in America could look like, you know, from the southern border, northern border. Doesn't just necessarily have to be from the east and west coast. Like, it could, you know, it could be all four sides. It could be all four directions. So be mindful of that when, you know, when you consider the idea of an invasion. And it's like, well, the likelihood of that is impossible. And it's like, no, not very. Not It's not impossible. It is never absolutely zero. There are, you know, now of course a lot of people when you think invasion from the north, you know, which is Canada, you know, they think that's a little impossible. But it's like, I mean, look, I'm not saying that, you know, I think that they're, you know, that all of a sudden we got to worry about hockey players and stuff. Just a joke. I think I think that any place is possible of, you know, of corruption. So if, with that being said, um, you could look at the southern border, especially the northern border. Okay, not maybe not so much, but if you have a naval fleet from the north side, or sorry, not north side, from the west side and east side, the west coast and east coast are already states that are highly, highly, highly against the Second Amendment. So it wouldn't take long to infiltrate those, and wouldn't. And then if, you know, if they do infiltrate it, you know, it wouldn't take long for them to put a foothold there, because, well, it's not very heavily protected. Now you do have the military. Military is very, what do you call it? Very keen on the east and west coast. You do have quite a bit of military forces on the coast side. Which, yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, sure. So you got the military there, but an overwhelming amount of military presence, you know, opposing a military presence could absolutely be, you know, treacherous, could absolutely be dangerous. And you also got to think too, worst case scenario, EMP on top of an invasion. Like, I think that's what Modern Warfare 2 was touched on the subject of, which I thought was brilliantly done. Okay, so we got a, okay, so the house is a little bit bigger than what I thought it was. Still a cabin, but I don't know why this house of all the houses is labeled on the map. Like, what's so special about this one? It's literally just a little farmhouse. Anyways. It doesn't even have anything in it. It's got a tourist map and shoes. Alright, so Promised Land wasn't very promising this time, which is ironic, especially considering the situation that we're in. I think we could absolutely head up this direction, but I'm just trying to think of where those gunshots would be coming from. Because it wasn't too terribly far from here. Like, it was, you could definitely hear it. And I don't think it was here. Unless if there's some kind of like fortress, man-made structure, like somewhere in this area. I don't know. Our character is freezing. Hopefully we get over that though. What? Now we're getting back into the swing of things. Alright. So, if the zombie apocalypse were to occur, worst case scenario, how badly do you think your place would be affected by it? Because that goes into like, population control. That goes into a lot of other conversations. Like, it's like, what's your population like, right? What's your shit, what's the towns that you live next to like? Is it, how bad is it? Is it heavily populated? How would the zombie outbreak actually occur? Is it kind of like DayZ, where it's like 1% of people have just the immune system, or just have the genetics that they're not affected by the zombie virus? Which it's actually not zombies, but it's just a like kind of like a rabies virus for humans. It's very zombie-like, but there's some characteristics or some differences between DayZ zombies, excuse me, and other zombie games, or other zombie scenarios. But I digress. I think it's absolutely a fun idea to explore. I don't think it's possible. There's some people that talk about like pestilence and sicknesses and stuff, and the dead rising. It's like, I don't know, man. I think that is the least likely. I think that is the least likely scenario to ever occur. In apocalyptic idea. I think it. I think it is. I think it's the most least likely thing to ever occur. Now, again, I don't ever want to say it's 100% zero chances. I don't think anything is 100% a zero chance. But I think that, zombie apocalypse idea, probably one of the, I don't know. Unless if somebody can show me an article, a legitimate article, not just something that somebody wrote, and put it out there. But if somebody can give me, evidence that a zombie, some sort of zombie virus is capable, and how would it spread, right? Is it kind of like The Walking Dead, where it becomes airborne and everybody's just kind of, everybody's already infected until they die? Is that, is that where, is that possible? Is that a legitimate, possibility or scenario? But I don't really like the zombie, idea as much as everybody else does. It kind of seems like, I mean, one that would be a little bit more interesting is a zombie apocalypse that is like the zombies are like super fast, like World War Z. World War Z is a good example. Now that kind of apocalypse is a little bit more. Oh, how did I miss that? That kind of apocalypse idea is a little bit more, frightening in my opinion, because the zombies are super fast. And it just and they swarm on each other, and they climb on each other. Like there's a lot of reasons that the World War Z is probably one of the most terrifying zombie outbreaks that ever occur. And I believe on that one, it had to get in your bloodstream or something like that, right? So um, it was it was a good um, idea as to why it would make a good scenario of a zombie apocalypse. That's all I got to say about that one because um, there's actually a fear factor into it, and not just a not just like if you run away from the zombie can't bother you. Like The Walking Dead, zombies so slow. It was just absolutely ridiculous that they ran into as many problems as they did. Um, and that's kind of one of the things that I got kind of tired of is that they never just it was always something. They kept going places, losing places, going to places, losing places, and it's like, it would make for a very short zombie movie, or a zombie show or whatever if something didn't, continuously, have a problem. But like, I don't know. Excuse me. I'm not saying that I have a problem with the realism of it, besides other than the whole zombie apocalypse. But because a lot of stuff could occur and could affect you internally, inside the group. Once when the group is not on the same page, and you have a little bit of deception, and you have a little bit of like, you got a little bit of problems inside your group. That absolutely could manifest and could create to be or could have legitimate claims to being a bigger problem. But it seemed like every season they just kept running into something and running into something and running into people. And it's like, I feel like there are a little bit more people out there that would be willing to help. But I feel like one of the things is that how could you ever decide who's trustworthy and who's not with like quick information? Like there isn't really a way to tell like very quickly people who are worthy and people who aren't. I mean, unless if everybody just tries to start, wearing doctor outfits and just like, oh hey, I'm a doctor, I'm trustworthy. Which that would be kind of funny, thinking about a bunch of people wearing doctor outfits. All right, here we go. But likely scenario, I think, is EMP strikes. Oh, here we go. EMP strikes is, I think, is something that is very plausible. Um, and I don't think, I think it would be a kind of a collective if, I don't know, when I think in terms of invasion, um, invasion's possible, but I don't think it's very plausible, um, especially when you give it, when you put into consideration. Just looking for night vision, man. That's all I care about. Yeah, this guy's smart. He he This guy's smart. He put everything in the walls, except for this tent. I think you can. I think I could get this tent out. No, I guess you can't. Huh. Smart dude. Very smart dude. He glitched the tents into the walls, which is a legit tactic, man. If you got something good like that and you want to keep it, it's a good idea to make it to where nobody can undo it. Now, if only we could do that with walls. Nah, then it wouldn't be fun. Alright, but EMP scenario. Dude, think about how many people would be affected by that. People who, require like like medication on the regular basis. Dude, like, and I'm sure at some point I'll have to be there as well. So it's like I've only probably like my chances of survival went from like, to possibly living in my, 80s to now like 60s at best, because when health starts to decline and skin starts to get too feeble or whatever, like, dude, everything is like just 10 times worse when you get older, and at when you get too old at least. But so I got to worry about that. I'll die young, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Then the common sicknesses like colds and all that stuff, flus and all that, are like 10 times worse again, because you have no. It's not that we don't have the technology and the understanding of medication and stuff like that. It's just that you don't have access to it anymore. As you can't just go to your pharmacy and just grab a whole bunch of medicine that will help for whatever you got going on, or go to the doctor and they'll tell you what what you need and prescribe antibiotics or something like that for you. Like, dude, you can kiss all that stuff goodbye. It's gone. I think we're coming up on it. And then, so I think with that being said, the thing that terrifies me probably the most at that point is sicknesses and illnesses. My whole body, shutting down and giving up slowly, because you don't have the medicine or the means of being able to, help your body. I think that's the worst right there. It's dying to like the fever or something, because it's such a slow and painful death. Anything slow and painful, that's what I hate. Just quick, man. Take me out fast. So, likely scenario, in my opinion, I think would absolutely be EMP. Now, of course, who would do it? I think, it's pretty obvious. You could have, a collective bunch of China and Russia, or you could have, heck, even, North Korea could get involved. Like, there's just so many places that could get involved, but I don't think North Korea is a real threat. I just think that, our enemies are, are very large in numbers, which is unfortunately, unfortunate for America, especially given the fact that we're kind of getting, we're not kind of, we are getting soft, man. And this is going to be really bad. We are getting so soft to the point in which our enemies are not going to take us serious anymore. And if that's the case, they're going to start messing with us. They're going to start doing stuff. And they already have. I mean, there's a lot of this. I don't think that it's a coincidence that what happened in, like, I think it was like 2020. What the heck are y'all getting excited about? That wasn't that loud. And how many zombies are here? I don't. I don't think I hear anybody. I think it's just zombies are just. That was weird. Let's go this way. Have I checked in here already? No, I have not. It's kind of cool. It's like stalls or stables. And then, like, okay, so how would you survive the EMP? Because obviously, the first thing you got to do is get, some form of technology back. Because, communication's key, man. When we had, 9/11 pop off, at least we had TV telling us what was happening. Like, could you imagine, like nukes going off and not have the ability to know about it? Like, not, okay, so not even nukes, all right? Invasion and not being able to talk to talk to people or see people around the nation, what they're going through, like, or like just no communication anymore. Like, I just can't imagine it. Dude, what is out there? Oh. Yeah, let's go check that out. It's a big old city. Let's get into some action. I don't know, man. I think, that's probably one of the worst things ever is that, like, dude, thousands of people will die within the first 72, or 70, I mean, heck, forget just the 24 hours. Thousands of people will die within the 24 hours. People who are on life support for comas and stuff like that, or people who are on life support just, you know, um, you know, going through whatever it is they're going through, whatever the scenario is. People are on life support, gone. People are on dialysis, gone. People, it's just so sad to think about. Um, diabetes, or anybody who is requiring insulin, your days are numbered. And when you don't have, um, oh, that's wolves right there. I don't physically see them, but I know a wolf sound when I hear one. It sounded off in the distance too, and I don't think wolves just sound off for the sake of sounding off. I think when they sound off like that, they are after somebody. So somebody's over there. Okay, we're getting closer. And then I think the combination of the two would be just absolutely detrimental. You have thousands of people who would die just for the simple fact of the EMP. Now, now we have a way bigger problem on our hands, where there is a legitimate force pushing in and actively, uh, you know, killing people, regardless of what that looks like. If they're not killing people, they're making them conform to, their side or whatever. They're, taking hostages or taking prisoners or whatever you want to call it. Now, of course, everybody's always like, well, an invasion's impossible, so you can just quit thinking about that because, we've got like, the Appalachian Mountains, the Rocky Mountains, we've got so many geological locations that would prove to be entirely too difficult. And it's like, I mean, yeah, but nowadays most of our battles are fought by either proxy wars or just by vehicles. And plus, again, take it in consideration. you don't have communication. Oh, screw me, that was loud. There they are. Yep, and they see me too. Alright, we gotta run. Oh, here they come. Screw me, that was loud, man. Oh, there they come. It was terrifying. That one buggered off because he was a lone survivor. I think I can keep heading in this direction. Oh, he came back. Come on. Wow. Missed out every shot. And then you do have to worry about, animals and stuff like that, because if, one thing that's keeping animals at bay right now is our ability to keep them, populated. Well, and that's another thing too. A lot of animals could go extinct. Deers, I think, would be probably one of the most common, animals to go extinct at first. Because everybody's just trying to kill them to hunt for food and stuff. And you got a lot of unexperienced people out there who aren't familiar with how to process meat and stuff, so they're probably going to screw it up. And then there's wasted meat there. But on the other hand, you also do have MREs. You got a bunch of ways of maintaining food, but your body also does need stuff like salt. Needs like stuff like sugar. It needs stuff like vegetables, vitamins, minerals, all that good stuff. Your body needs some stuff. So, being mindful of, if you're gonna create that kind of, if you have to live off the land and stuff, you got to learn how to live off the land. You got to know what you can eat, what you can't eat, or what you can eat and what you can't eat. Oh man, please don't let that be a bear. I ain't got a whole lot of ammo. So then let's talk about them in separately. So I do think it's not very likely that America could get invaded if it was without an EMP, without some kind of extra type of help, because you know with Americans right now, behind every blade of grass is a gun. Absolutely, that's a huge fear factor for, and why we're so why we haven't been tried to take over already. However, something to take into consideration is that one of the best advances that we have is our technological advance. Being able to utilize GPS, being able to utilize, and many people need to develop skills such as map reading, or just learning how to, just have your mental compass on. And I think that's important. just be able to know your mental compass. It was always so terrifying coming across wolves. They can spot you out from a far distance, man. So again, all right, let's talk about it separately. So EMP strike alone, let's say it wasn't due to an invasion. Let's just say, you know, like a sun solar flare just popped off and, you know, fried our whole system and whatever. All right, that sucks, man. Like, again, thousands of people are still gonna die. Like, okay, so it's not a nuclear warhead that's over the, you know, the nation's atmosphere or whatever that caused it. Let's say it's just the sun solar flare that caused it and whatnot. That, dude, like, there are so many things. Now, again, there are ways to prevent, being so negatively impacted by a solar flare, like an EMP scenario. However, not many people still know that or have that information. Not a whole lot of people, you know, EMP shield their houses. Not a whole lot of people do that with their cars and vehicles and stuff. And my truck is the first thing that if I ever were to, you know, able to, you know, spend $400 on these things, I would absolutely put it on my truck first, just because my truck is going to allow me to get to places. Like, my truck is going to allow me to get to my family's houses and stuff, so that way we can load up more materials, more, like, my truck is going to be putting into work the first 3 days of something like that popping off. Just because there's going to be, there's just such a a lot, there's just a lot going on. And if my truck is still able to do its job, then if my truck is still able to, do its job and provide to be useful, then I'm gonna be busy, man. And another thing too is you gotta keep strapped now, because now you've got a vehicle, and now people are gonna ask you to help them all the time. And it's like, I hope you live in a very trustworthy community, because, like, if you're in a situation like that, man, I would hate to be the one with a working vehicle, because everybody and their brother is gonna want, you to do them favors or something. And it's very possible, like, it is one of the first things that will happen, is, you're not going to be able to use your air conditioning unit. You're not going to have gas, because it requires the meter to work and whatever. There's just so many things that are just, it's done. I think this zombie's trying to get up here. I'm just gonna leave that like that for now. So, think about things that you wouldn't typically, think about things that you take for granted now, that that could be a factor into it. And it's why a lot of people go with the wood. A lot of people have natural ways to provide, like a stove, and provide food. Nope. Get that out of your hands. It looks like our time has come. So let me go ahead and stop the video here. We'll pick up right where we left off. So thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. We're still on the apocalypse idea. And we'll see you in the next episode.